everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name's Lucy and I'm a fourth year medical student studying at the University of Nottingham. I am a Notion newbie, so I've just got Notion literally yesterday and I am absolutely loving what you can do with it, and I've been watching so many YouTube videos on it. And one of the YouTube videos I came across was UnJaded Jade's one about her kind of setting her goals and reflecting ahead of the new year, which for me is tomorrow because it's currently New Year's Eve for me. And she very kindly sort of released her template that she used for setting goals for 2021, and so I have duplicated that and I'm using her template to make my goals. And I will also be showing you a few things that I've set up in my Notion that hopefully will help me be more organised and more productive in 2021. But as we look at that, let's go through my goals for 2021. So I've used UnJaded Jade's template, as I said, and I've kind of split it into categories that are sort of relevant to me, so I changed the ones that she was using. So I've got fitness and health, medical school, mental wellbeing, YouTube, relationships and sleep. So firstly, fitness and health. Well, the first goal I have is to allow myself to go on more shorter runs. This sounds like a bit of a strange goal to have, but what I found with running is that because I wouldn't say I particularly love running, I kind of go for the health benefits and the sort of mental well-being benefits that it gives me, and I do really enjoy that feeling of accomplishment after finishing a run. What I would like to do more of next year is just go for short runs more often, because what I'm doing at the moment is, for example, I have this target in my head that if a run isn't more than 3 miles or more than 5k, then it just doesn't really count for me. And so I will kind of say to myself, you either go for a 3-mile run or more, or you don't run at all. And there's been lots of days when I've come back from placement, it's been dark outside, maybe it's been raining, and I've kind of wanted to move, I've wanted to do some form of exercise, but like I don't want to do a 3-mile run, and because of that I've therefore not gone and done anything at all, and I've just sat in, and I always regret that, and I always think, oh, I wish I'd just gone even for like a 1-mile run or half a mile run or just a sprint up and down a hill. And so for 2021 I really want to just allow myself to not have this target and not be so hard on myself, and just say, you know what, if I want to do some sort of movement, then maybe I should just run up and down the street 10 times. And I want to allow myself to do that, because in the long run, pardon the pun, that will allow me to actually exercise more and to get more out of running than if I just set myself these rigid targets that I have to do a 3-mile run, otherwise I'm not going. My second goal for exercise is to do body pump at least once a fortnight. I used to do this at least every week, if not twice a week. Since gym classes have stopped, I've really stopped doing it, but I do actually have the weights to do it at home. I've really stopped doing it because I don't have the motivation to set the weights up and get myself ready and do it in my room on my own. The class was always the thing that really motivated me to do it, and sort of set it as a rigid thing in my timetable. So yeah, I just like to set myself the target to do it once every 2 weeks at some point. I also want to work on my flexibility and spend a lot more time stretching. I never stretch after running, and that is so bad. My hamstrings have always been so tight that when I sit down and put my legs in front of me, it hurts, and I'd like to kind of just spend some time stretching them out. I would also like to start the year with 30 days of yoga. I am doing the Yoga with Adrienne 30-day sort of journey that she does, starting tomorrow. I think it's called, I don't know if it's called Breath or Breathe, but I've signed up to do that. It's free, so if you want to do it, then I'd recommend sort of starting the year off with something like that. So yeah, I think that'd be a nice thing to do, and then after doing that I might sort of get back into yoga a bit more, and maybe I'll sort of do it a bit more frequently. And in terms of using Notion to kind of keep track of my exercise, I've made this kind of table / calendar. So this is the calendar view. So I can kind of see the exercise or the movement that I'm doing each day. And then in the table as well, you can see sort of, I want to record like how many miles I'm running and the length of time I'm spending doing different activities, because I love at the end of a year totaling up how many miles I've run, because this year I got Strava in about April time, so it's not the full year, but since April I've run over 500 miles, and I just think it's a really cool thing to know at the end of the year. And finally, I'd like to run a half marathon. I've actually done 2 before in the past, and they were both organised events, and so hopefully there will be another organised half marathon next year. But if not, I'm going to still try to make sure that at some point in the year I do run one, even if it has to just be on my own. So next we have my medical school goals. So my first one is to allow myself to be more confident and to use my voice more. And I use the word allow because I do think that deep down I am quite a confident person, and I'd love to get more of my personality out, like on clinical placement. I think being on a clinical placement is quite intimidating, and it does feel like you don't belong all the time, and you shouldn't really be there. But actually I should be there. I do need to learn. If I'm going to be able to be a doctor and work for the NHS, I am going to have to learn. So I'm going to kind of own my position as a medical student a bit more. I also want to practice the things I find hard rather than just the things I find easier. So for example, this is kind of relating to clinical skills. So things like taking blood, I feel like I'm obviously not perfect at it, but I feel like it's become a lot more, it's a lot more easy now. And so when someone says, oh, go and take that person's blood, I don't feel scared. I don't have that kind of fear and dread inside me. I just think, oh yeah, that's fine. Whereas like putting a cannula in, at the moment I'm at the stage where that does kind of fill me with a bit of dread, and I want to kind of overcome some of those things. So I put my first catheter in a couple of months ago, and I was really proud of myself, and that felt like such an accomplishment. But doing just one isn't enough. They need to kind of become second nature. So yeah, catheters and cannulas, maybe sort of tricky like consultations or like tricky examinations. I want to kind of push myself to try those hard things that I know I'm going to find difficult and scary, rather than just repeatedly doing the things I find easy. I also want to keep on top of going over my flashcards and testing myself, because when it does come to revision and the exams, then I will be in a lot of a better position. And the way I'm going to kind of keep on top of that is in my sort of life hub, which again I got from UnJaded Jade, who got from someone else who made the template on Notion. I have this kind of little flashcards table where I'm going to keep track of the flashcard I'm on. So this isn't the number of flashcards I've done each day, this is the sort of number I'm on. So if I've got like 500 flashcards, then I'm on 5 out of 500, if that makes sense. And I'm just going to record each day what number I'm on for each different set. So these are the ones I've kind of started reviewing. So my gynae, obstetrics, psychiatry, healthcare, later life, and ENT, ear, nose and throat flashcards. They're the ones I've started sort of going over. The others I've either made and I haven't started going over, or I've not made yet. So I'm just going to kind of keep track of it, and just even if I can just put that I've done one of each set each day, then that's kind of enough for me. Like, I just want to feel like I'm ticking over all the time. I want to also not just learn for the exams, I want to ensure that I'm learning to be a doctor and be a good doctor, and not just learn to get a lot of marks in the exam, because I feel like I can become quite invested in the knowledge part of the course, and I actually need to improve maybe more on like communication and sort of clinical skills. So I want to put more of a focus on that part of it, because when I'm in F1, that's the thing that I'm going to be doing. I want to do admin tasks within 24 hours of them coming up. I am so bad at admin tasks. Like if I get an email saying I need to put my preferences for a placement, or I need to do my travel expense forms, I literally just put it off and put it off and put it off until it's like the last possible day. And so my goal is going to be to do it within 24 hours, because it just will give me that peace of mind that I don't have something constantly hanging over me on my to-do list. I want to use Notion to be more organised and productive, and I might even use Notion to make my notes for final year. So I'm going into 5th year in the summer, and I just really love Notion, and I can't believe I've never discovered it before. So I think I want to utilise the features of Notion a lot more academically. And whatever happens, I want to be proud of finishing 4th year. I mean, I got through 3rd year and the start of 4th year with all this COVID pandemic going on. I started 4th year having missed my 3rd year placement, so I was a complete newbie to being on full-time placement, when really I should have already done a full-time placement for 14 weeks, I think it was, that I missed. I have also had to obviously deal with the fact that it's not normal, like the communication with a visor and a mask is very different to how it would have been if I'd been studying medicine 3 years ago and didn't have all of those sort of communication barriers. Obviously things have often been cancelled, or I've not been allowed to go into things because there's been too many people in the room, and they've got to keep social distancing and things. So there's been a lot of hurdles I've had to overcome, and so I know that I will probably get an exam result at the end of the year that I'm not completely satisfied with, but I'm just going to tell myself that I just need to be proud that I got through this year, year and hopefully past the year. So next, my mental well-being. Firstly, I want to do one thing each day entirely for myself. So by this I mean things like just cooking myself a really nice meal, just for me to eat, just to enjoy, or just having some downtime. So maybe everyone else is socialising in my house and maybe just realising that no, I actually just need to be on my own at the moment, and giving myself that downtime, maybe doing some journaling, whatever it is that I feel I just need in that moment. I'm going to try and do that once a day and give myself that time each day just to sort of spend for myself, on myself. I also want to keep up with sort of daily meditation. So at the moment, every night before I go to sleep, I do one of the kind of winding down meditations, and they're the ones I find probably the most useful. So I'd like to keep that up because I do think it's a really nice way to end the day. I also want to journal to get things off my chest, because I often feel like I need to just write things down, but I don't, because I just like can't be bothered to get my journal out. So I'm going to really sort of make it my goal that when I have that urge of like things are bottling up and I feel like I need to get things off my chest, I am going to journal. And also because I often talk about my problems and like my worries a lot, and I do think talking is really important, but I feel as well often in the past I spend too much time just talking, particularly to like certain people, about the same problems again and again, and actually it gets to the point where it isn't helpful. So maybe if I have this space where I can just put it down in my journal and just move on from it, that might be really useful, and it stops me having to constantly be just talking to the same people about the same problems. I also want to use my daily journal on Notion that I've set up to remember the special moments of each day and to kind of be more grateful and more mindful, because I do feel like the days just pass me by, especially when I'm on placement. Like each day just kind of blurs into the next day, and I'm just constantly on this like overdrive of having a big to-do list to get through. And so I want to take time to actually record and reflect on those like special moments each day. So I've used Notion, I used a template that I got from UnJaded Jade, who got it from someone else. I've set up this 5-minute journal, so it's not going to be a long thing, and I can easily do this in the morning or in the evening every day. And basically, yeah, so it just has for the morning like 3 things I'm grateful for, things that would make today great, daily affirmations, and then it's got a kind of reflective part for the evening, so like 3 amazing things that happened today, just little things like that. I think it would be nice to record, and then hopefully I'll end up with this calendar of all these like happy moments throughout the year, and I think that would be really nice to sort of look back on. I also want to learn more for fun. This kind of stems from the fact that one day me and my friend have this kind of like bucket list goal that we want to be on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, or at least some form of quiz game show. Based on that, I do enjoy quizzes, and I enjoy knowing things. I enjoy general knowledge, I enjoy history, basically every subject at school I loved. But now I'm only doing medicine, and I do feel like I miss that. Like I do miss like learning about the world wars and things. So I'm going to try and invest some time, I don't know when, and I need to sort of think about this goal a bit more, but just to learn things. It'd be nice to kind of just read maybe more non-fiction books, just collect some more general knowledge, and Notion might be good for kind of storing that information as well. In terms of YouTube, I'm not going to commit to uploading a video every week, and I know that it probably is possible if I really tried, but I feel like it puts a lot of pressure on me making videos, and then I will probably just come up with really random ideas, or I'll just vlog like a really boring day just to get it done. And I always want my videos to be things that I'm passionate about and things that I'm going to enjoy filming, because I feel like it just makes the video better to watch. However, I do want to try and upload a video every 2 weeks if possible, because I do love making videos and editing videos, and I love having a YouTube channel, and so I would like to keep that going as much as I possibly can, even if medical school gets really stressful. So that's going to be my target, a video every 2 weeks. It might not be on the same day, it might not be at the same time, but just at some point every 2 weeks, I'm going to really try. With YouTube as well, I want to make sure I don't ever get obsessed with the numbers and the subscriber count and views. I want to just strive for that value, and for people, even if it's just 1 or 2 people just commenting and saying, wow, that was really helpful. And if the numbers and the sub count comes later, then that's great. But I think focusing on the numbers is never going to be a healthy way to look at a YouTube channel. So for YouTube, I've set up this board. I actually got this from Ali Abdaal's video. I think other YouTubers use the same thing, and obviously mine is very empty at the moment. I haven't sort of added loads of ideas at this point because I don't really want to reveal my ideas. I want them to be a nice surprise. But this is kind of a workflow like Ali Abdaal has, where it starts with just an idea. So a video will just start as an idea, and then I will plan the video and I'll like bullet point all the things I want to talk about, and then I'll film the video, and then I'll have to actually obviously edit it and upload it, and just sort of tracking videos through that process. And I hope as well that will enable me to always have a video in the process of being uploaded, and I'll always have a sort of bank of ideas, because often I do have a lot of ideas for my YouTube videos, but I just forget them, or I don't write them down, or I forget where I write them down. In terms of relationships, I'll keep this bit brief because it's hard to go into sort of details without revealing lots of personal information and things. But I want to invest more time in reaching out to people. I'm not very good at that. And sort of the opposite extreme, I want to invest less time in doing things simply to please others. I don't mean I want to become more selfish necessarily. I just want to be more true to what I actually want and what I actually need from people, maybe. It's hard to kind of explain it, but yeah, it makes sense in my head. And I also want to be more grateful for the people I care about, and not take them for granted. And lastly, I just want to talk a bit about my sleep, because my sleep has always been like not great. Not in terms of necessarily how long I sleep for, because I often do get a good night's sleep, but I spend probably 2 hours every single day trying to get to sleep. The whole process, the kind of when is it time for me to go to sleep? I need to get off my phone now. I need to put TikTok away. And then the whole process of lying there, and maybe I do my meditation, but I'm not really focused on my meditation. I'm actually just like letting my mind wander. And then I'm lying in bed and I'm worrying about things and I'm thinking about things and my mind's racing. I'll even sometimes start to kind of like go over medicine stuff in my head, like, oh my God, I can't remember what the causes of this particular disease are, and then I'll have to sit and think through them before I let myself go to sleep. And it's really, really silly, and it wastes a lot of my kind of downtime, because it's not actually downtime and it's not peaceful, restful time. It's actually just stress. 3 things I want to do to tackle that this year is, firstly, make reading the last thing I do each day. So I'm going to try and make that a habit of actually reading every night, even if it's a couple of pages, because it really helps me wind down. I really enjoy it, and then I'll get through way more books than I do love reading lots of books. I also want to write in a worry book before I go to sleep. I've not actually designated one of my notebooks to being my worry book yet, but I have lots of lovely new notebooks I got for Christmas to choose from. And I just want this to be a book that when I've turned my light off at night and I'm lying in bed and my mind's racing and all these things I need to do the next day, and all these things I'm worrying about, things from the past I'm regretting, like, it's just not useful for me to be thinking about those things in that moment. It's not productive use of my time. If I want to think about them, I need to actually sit down and think about them and make a plan of how I'm going to overcome these things. So at night, I just want to have a book where I can just write down all those things to come back to at a different time, or not even to come back to. And I think that will help me just like let go and be able to then get to sleep quicker. And yeah, like I said, I often spend a lot of time thinking about medicine, particularly when I'm trying to get to sleep. So once I'm in bed and I'm going through that kind of winding down routine, I just want to cast medicine out of my mind, because thinking about it won't change anything. So there's just no point in me thinking about it. I've also set up this habit tracker. So each day I've got things like running, or at least doing some sort of movement, reading, journaling, like doing my daily journal, meditation, and getting that good quality sleep. So they're all things I want to sort of be doing most days. So I've set up this little habit tracker to motivate me to do that. So that is my very limited Notion setup so far. Hopefully it will expand a lot over 2021. That brings me to the end of the video. I hope you found it interesting or useful in some way. And if you've not got Notion, or you've not sort of experimented with it, I would recommend getting it. It's free for students if you use your student email, and you just see, like, have a play with it and just see if you think it will be useful for your life in any way. And I will see you in 2021 with lots more YouTube videos. Thank you very much for watching, and remember to subscribe to my channel if my channel content sort of interests you in any way, and remember to give this video a thumbs up. See you very soon. Bye.